Hi, everybody, and welcome to Arts Garage. I am interviewing, lucky day for me, Nicole Henry. So thank you, Miss Nicole, for coming.
Marjorie, it's great to be with you. Always great to be with you.
Really good to see you. We're getting super excited about your show, which is only a week and a half away, I think.
Wild. I love it. I love it. Summer's been flying, so excited.
It's on the 15th of August, which is Saturday night, and it's at 7 p.m., and it's a live stream from Arts Garage with your band.
Yes.
So you are award-winning diva,
Fun. Thank you.
performer, and singer. And my understanding is that you live in Miami now.
Yes. Well, I came to Miami in the 90s when I went to college at the University of Miami, and then started my career here in early 2001, singing around town. Actually, would do a lot of open mics and so forth, from 1998, but started a full-time career in 2001, and then just started recording, started touring, and then 16 years later or 15 years later, I was like, oh, you know what, I should probably consider, even though I was playing in New York regularly, I should consider moving there for a little bit. So I've been going back and forth for the last 4 years between Miami and New York, and with COVID and everything, I've just hunkered down here in South Florida, and it's home. It's my home.
You know what? This is not one of the things we discussed talking about, but you are doing some amazing things in Miami right now during this pandemic. Do you want to talk about that at all? And
like what kinds of things?
well, you were doing some things in Liberty City, I think.
Yes, for sure. No, for sure. What I love about Miami, I mean, growing up here effectively, is that I really feel connected to the community, even though it's not my hometown, which is actually Philadelphia, and a suburb of Philadelphia, Bucks County, Pennsylvania. But having been here for all these years, I've gotten involved with different organizations over the years, and two organizations, the Miami Music Project, as well as Miami Children's Initiative. And both of them, well, Miami Children's Initiative is based in Liberty City, and the Miami Music Project we have 5 locations, and we teach children in the lesser served communities, lesser served schools. We teach them free music lessons, and it's just an amazing program. We serve up to 1,000, about 850 students a year with free music and music lessons. And it's really like an intense program. It's 4 or 5 days a week after school, 5 days, a week after school. And it's, as we all know, anyone out there that was in band or in choir or in orchestra, having that community, and in their situations, they get to be bused from their school and like join with sometimes 10 to 15 other schools. So they have like this music community, as well as just the discipline of learning music and the joy of expressing yourself and working in groups. So we're really changing lives, and I'm honored to be a part of that, for sure.
It's fantastic. I mean, all the research says that music has an impact on everyone in a healing way, and for kids in particular, it helps them they tend to be more involved citizens in their communities, and they get better grades, and they're more likely to go to college. I mean, it helps them discover who they are as people. It's fantastic that you're doing it. So
it's amazing, and we make sure that they are applying for colleges, and all of our students to date, in 10 years, all of the students who have graduated as seniors in the Miami Music Project have gone on to college. And
it makes me want to cry. I just think that's fantastic.
Me too. When I think about it, it's just a powerful endeavor. So.
Well, and Liberty City is a very high poverty neighborhood in Miami, where the kids often don't have access to a lot of after school activities. So it's a tremendous job that you're doing. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Kudos for that. So tell us about you. When did you start singing? You've been singing since you were knee high?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, well, it's funny. I grew up in a household. My parents loved music. My dad's sister, my Aunt Deborah Henry, is actually a vocalist herself. So she was always, she had her own band in the 70s called Silk. And so she was a solo artist with original music. And so we grew up singing her songs and her original songs. So and her voice is and magical. So, you have that you're living up to those expectations, or at least that standard of mute song. And then we grew up listening to Aretha Franklin, Patti LaBelle, Denise Williams, and just great music. So, and then The Wiz came out. So I always was singing around the house, sang in church choirs, school choirs, sang the national anthem at like every basketball game,
Right.
in high school. But oddly enough, because I didn't go to an arts school, I didn't really know that you could have a career in music. So it's really interesting. That's why I love the fact that we're teaching kids music. And even though I was in the orchestra, I didn't know how you become a music. I thought you just got discovered and that was it. Either you got to. So when I went on to college, didn't study music at a great music school though. It has a great music school. But then people kept asking me to sing after graduating from college, sing the anthem, or can you record this house music? I recorded a couple house music tracks in the late 90s and loved performing. It was the first time that I stepped on stage singing house music at a venue in Orlando, where nobody knew who I was. And that's what made me fall in love with performing. And I said, I have to do this again. I want to learn how to do this better and become a better entertainer, as well as singing, a better singer. But entertaining is different. Singing one song compared to singing 4 songs in a show in a row in front of an audience by yourself, that was the most exhilarating thing. And first time I really got nervous. And I was like, wow, I'm a thrill seeker. And so I think that nervousness has always inspired me to just keep mastering and trying to keep mastering the art of performing.
Well, it's a big thing, because it's not just the gift of your voice, because you're face to face with these people that are feeding off of your energy and following your lead and what they should take from the music and from the performance. So it's a lot of pressure.
And you nailed it right there on the head. It's like singing is not just the song and sharing an emotion and sharing a feeling and sharing the idea of being understood or being expressed. It's also giving something to people and letting them give something to you. And that's what's been the hardest thing about these times right now, is that it's not the same on social media. It's just not the same. However, that being said, I do have to say that the 3 times that I have done live streams, there is a fillingness to it that I did not expect. And that I'm like, wow, why do I keep, why have I not done more of these? And when I do them, I really look forward to them, because there is a feedback. And I am grateful that social media happens to be at the level that it's at, so
that's right.
Perform, we can get those responses. And
yeah, it helps. But we all know that there's nothing that beats a live performance. There's nothing. You cannot beat the energy. It's an organic relationship, like you described, between you and your fans that are watching, the people in the room that feed off of your energy and you off of theirs. So there's nothing better. But how long can you go without performing? I mean, people want and need music in their lives, and it's important. So I think this is, fortunately, we're living during a time, I mean, imagine that the pandemic from the early 1900s. I mean, we have smartphones, we have technology, we have the ability to do it, for us to have a conversation in real time like this. So it's lucky that we can use that to help us get over the hump.
It's amazing.
And be together again.
Yes. Which is why I'm looking forward to August 15th.
Us too. So you talked about your aunt, and you mentioned Aretha and some other performers. Who would you say are your key inspirations? Who do you think inspires you the most?
That's a good question. Who inspires me the most? There are so many artists that I love listening to. And, I think like all of us, we have different moods. And one day it's Ray LaMontagne, one day it's Lettucey, one day it's Fiona Apple, one day it's, what's my man's name who, a rapper out of LA, so it really just depends. And then one day it's Sarah Vaughan and Ella Fitzgerald and Carmen McRae. And I was a friend of mine texted me this morning, my friend Lisa Richards, who's been on your stage for sure. she sent me a video of Carmen Bradford, who is a vocalist for the Count Basie Big Band. She does a lot of big band and swing. And she was talking about her having met Ella Fitzgerald 4 times in her life at Neiman Marcus in Los Angeles, and in the jewelry department. But and just hearing her interview and talk about other artists, it reminded me how much over the last month or a few weeks that I have missed listening to jazz and listening to artist biographies or artist interviews, because I've been so consumed with politics and the news and just various things, that music really does inspire us. It just does. Artists but humanity inspires us. I mean, I listen to the Moth storytelling, I listen to all kinds of, but music is as an artist, I'm like excited to just dive back into music, completely. Yeah.
You're inspired by all of it. You have a broad range of interests, and that's kind of cool. It's reflected in your work too. I mean, you can see your diversity. You have a breadth of skill base that's impressive. And
Thanks.
You have a lot of fans here and all over the place. So connected to what you're talking about now, especially what music is right now, what do you think music's power is? What do you think it has the power to do, or what power do you see in the world or in our culture?
I'll start with, I grew up listening to a lot of gospel music, but old gospel, like the Aretha Franklin gospel album, Amazing Grace, Reverend James Cleveland. That music inspired me so much, because when I hear anyone singing about faith, there's just a deeper resonance, a deeper truth, a deeper expressiveness, because it's all about gratitude, and it's about just being so thankful for the gifts of life and, getting through the struggles of life. So I personally find that to be so important. And then I think I've always been able to find exactly that same motivation in non-secular songs, in pop music, in jazz. The songs of love and jazz lyrics are just some of the most precious. Like the very thought of you. I was just listening to, and I seldom listen to my own music, but I was just listening to Mike Orta, who played with me for 10 years. He was my first jazz pianist, and he was one of the best accompanists I've ever worked with. And we recorded 2 albums together. And when I hear his playing, it just, with the rain that's been going on and the storms, it just put me in such a place all day yesterday that it was just like, wow, that brought me to a moment and to a feeling that you can't, it brings it all back. Sometimes it's like all the senses, when we can awaken our senses, it's just magical. When you smell a fragrance and it's just like, oh my goodness, that takes me back to, being in Japan in 2008, and I can smell the room, so I think awakening your senses just takes you out of where your mind and you sometimes what gets in our way, all the what they call the monkey brain, the chatter and all that chatter. Music, art, visual art, it's just such an important, and this, I'm preaching to the choir, because Arts Garage is such a haven and supporting force for keeping these things alive. So music is so important right now. It really, I think it's saving us, particularly during these times.
It can definitely heal, I think. And I was talking with Nestor Torres earlier today and told him, our vision is connecting our community to the world through the arts. And we believe that it's restorative, if you will, that it's healing and transformative and brings people together, blurs the lines between people that normally divides them. I think it has very, very much power. So we're grateful to be part of giving people something that can help.
Awesome.
So cool.
Yeah. And I appreciate you saying blurring lines and bringing us together, because we need that so badly. It's really, so upsetting to me as a human being, to see what's going on in our country. And it's just, something's got to bring us together. And it's always the arts. It always is the arts.
And it always will be, I think. I think it's why it's so important to say, okay, well, we can't get everybody in the room right now, but we can still bring something really meaningful to them. And I'm grateful that you want to be a part of that. So that's perfect, because I want you to tell me what you feel about your fans, because you have a ton of them. You perform to a sold out waiting list crowd every time you're here. And I know that's the case for you all over the world. So talk to me about that. How do you feel about these people that want to see you and believe in what you're doing so much?
You know, I'm definitely one of those people that, like, I forget to recall that, that level of respect and admiration that I get from the audience. I forget it, because you go back home, sometimes we artists, we go back home and we're in our little four walls by ourselves, and we forget that we do have a community out there that is looking forward to us saying something, singing something, bringing a new concert, even just chiming in on social media. And it's such a blessing. I mean, first of all, I've always loved people. I've always respected people. I've always grown up with the idea that I love everyone. And I could cry just thinking about how much I really do love everyone and how upset I am, you know, with what's going on in the world. But when I'm in front of an audience, I really feel like I am talking to everybody in that room, because we're all there for the same reason, because we all want to feel something, and we all want to share that feeling and know that we're not alone in that desire to feel.
So they make you feel less alone too, then, your fans do.
What did you say? I'm sorry?
Your fans make you feel less alone too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's really symbiotic, I think. It's really lovely.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Okay, so now I'm looking for you to tell me something really cool about Arts Garage. What do you like about performing here? Why do you like coming back?
I really, really, really love Arts Garage. From the first time that I was there, I want to say like 2000, was it 13, 15? It's maybe 15? I don't know, but maybe 1 year before, but somewhere around there. And it's always been such a great energy. The people that come there and that frequent and support the venue, seems like they're just really so appreciative of the venue itself and of the act that's just about to happen. You know what I mean? They're there to witness, and they're there to take part, and they're not judging, they're embracing and like saying, okay, we are here to catch you, even though they know no one's gonna fall. It's like they're like something about that space. I feel that space, that feeling in one other place I can say in America that jumps to mind, like top of mind, and that's Joe's Pub in New York City. So between Joe's Pub in New York City and your venue at the Arts Garage, there's something, it's like you almost feel like there's energy under the ground that's just like rising up to meet everyone there, and the sound and the lights and the vibe. It's just, there's something really special that you all have created there. And it's one of those things you just can't put your hand on it, you can't put your finger on it, but it's just I think it's the level of respect that people feel, because you all don't chintz on the lighting, you don't chintz on the seating, you know what I mean? I mean, you could jam probably 200 more people in those seats, but you make sure that people are comfortable, you know, and I think people respect all of that, all of the above.
Thank you. It's very sweet, and I know I made you say it, but I'm really
no, but it's true. I look forward to it. I mean, I really look forward to it.
It's the audience in large part. I mean, we have an amazing staff that tries to make the experience positive all around, but the audience is so educated and such connoisseurs. They come for that music. They come for the artists. They've done their research. They know who they want to see, and they're there for that reason. You know, it's
Yeah.
a lovely, lovely experience to be part of it here for my side. You know?
Awesome. And it's, but it's also, and there's no judgment. It's like there's something really special about it. And you mentioned staff, and I feel bad that I didn't say that from the get-go too, because you can be in a special place and the staff just doesn't understand. They don't value what's going on. And that's a shame when that happens, because it's like all this and you just dropped the ball, you know? So staff is super important. And
Most of our staff are
management
artists.
is in management. Yeah, yes.
They're artists and performers themselves, so they understand, and that's intentional. You know, we've wanted that, because then they sort of become an organic part of the culture, well, as they should, the culture of the organization, and that makes everybody feel better, I think, and it feeds the staff members. They really enjoy being part of the whole thing.
That's so special.
Are looking forward. You're launching the series for us, Music at Home Live from Arts Garage. So even though you're sitting at home, you're seeing a professionally produced show on our stage with your full band. This is not a Zoom. Everybody's in a different location. Like, we'll actually be on the stage here, and it's going to be fantastic.
Can I tell you how excited I am to see my band and to work with them? I mean, to do a show. It's not a rehearsal. We are doing a show. And this is the first time I've been on stage with them. It will be the first time since February.
It's a long time.
Because I was involved with another project, a musical, so I hadn't performed with them since February, even though we closed down in March. But I just cannot wait to make music with them. So thank you for the opportunity.
Fantastic. No, thank you for being willing to help us launch this. We're very excited. So the show, for everybody that's listening, is the 15th, which is not this Saturday, but the one after, at 7 p.m. It is a legitimate live stream. So that means that you need to be in your seat at home ready to watch at 7 p.m. You get the link about an hour before. It'll have a password for you to log in. The price is for your household. So you're paying one price for anyone who is living with you. So we hope, or there for the show, if you've been social distancing together or something.
Right, carefully.
Yeah. So we cannot wait to see you. Thank you for taking time for this interview today.
Of course. Thank you very much. And make sure, and what's exciting, 7 p.m. Eastern time, because people from all over the world can watch it. So that's going to be.
Watch from anywhere. That's right. Yeah, that's a good point. 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay, Nicole Henry, thank you so much.
Thank you, Marjorie. Great to be with you.